The village of Slinger is known for, among other things, its speedway and ski hill. One thing not as familiar, especially to non-residents, is the original name of this Washington County community, named after its founder, a merchant and politician who, upon hearing his name, one of our team members wanted to learn more about, for obvious reasons. In our Sunday morning spotlight, Michael Schleisinger shares the story of a town once known as Schleisingerville.
Just a half an hour away from Milwaukee is the somewhat sleepy village of Slinger.
That was beautiful. It was the Kettle Moraine, rolling hills, lakes.
The man who first settled here in the mid-1840s was Baruch Schleisinger, a French-American immigrant who was a businessman, realtor, and horse trader. Ville, by the way, was his second wife's last name. There's even said to be a street named in Milwaukee connected to the couple.
He decided that he wanted to live here, and he bought just under 7,000 acres at 25 cents an acre.
This gentleman, I'm told, also played an integral part bringing the railroad to this area of Washington County.
The railroad had a lot to do with it, because how do you get your materials and your supplies to your businesses, and that was the train back then.
This in turn led to development as part of the Industrial Revolution.
You just have all of these different immigrants coming over and seeing the opportunity to, do something, and they took things in their hands and basically made these villages.
In full transparency, Schleisingerville is spelled a little different than my name. There's an added I. And when it comes to pronunciation, that's a whole nother story.
They would have pronounced it Schleisinger, but I think Schlesinger is just fine for Schleisingerville.
Steve Simon is Baruch's great-great-grandson. He says he has nothing but admiration and love for the relative who came long before him.
Got elected to the state assembly. That's pretty amazing. That somebody who might not have had full citizenship where he came from was able to help write the laws in the new country. I think that's really something.
He had the foresight to buy the land that we still have as a family.
Chip Mann is third cousin to Steve and also a great-great-grandson to the village's founder.
It's part of my heritage. I grew up out here, and so, yeah, Slinger feels a part of me.
There's not a lot of information on him. He kind of kept to himself, it seemed like, and it's hard to find history on him.
But there was enough history for Tom Lane to create the Schleisingerville to Slinger Museum in the downtown area. The site is an old train depot.
It's just been an outpouring of support from the community, and we keep adding items on a daily basis. So,
how many items are here donated or loaned?
We're just under 5,000 items right now, and then about 15,000 documents and pictures. So, and growing every day.
Vice president of the museum is Troy Fossbender. He knows this place like the back of his hand.
I'm in charge of anything that comes in that's donated or loaned to us. I'm in charge of numbering it, filing it, and then displaying it. So if someone asks me where a piece of a memorabilia is, I pretty much know where it's going to be because I put it there.
Several items in particular are eye-catching, including a theatric organ built in the 1920s by the local Schaefer pipe organ factory. It's now worth some $30,000.
We have the last one that's remaining, so it's a one-of-a-kind.
Then there's a Stork Brewery sign, never displayed, also valued about the same.
You mentioned Stork Brewery, and the number just triples in price because it's such a small-town brewery, and people like breweries that the village had two names, Slinger and Schleisingerville, and it's got that animal stork on it.
Schleisingerville kept its identity from roughly 1869 until 1921. It was around this time people were using Slinger more often. It was the name of a foundry, and obviously a word a lot easier to pronounce than the previous identifier.
Probably just too big a mouthful, to say.
In his later years, Baruch settled in Chicago and died in his early 90s. He's actually buried in Milwaukee. Meantime, the Schlesinger descendants say their role in this community has never wavered, despite the name change so many years ago.
Just how important it is, to me to be living here and my children to be living here and my grandchildren, and it's a real sense of continuity. That it's a forever thing. And there are too many forever things these days.